Hi, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery in Indianapolis, Indiana.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Southgate, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
Hey guys, we've loved answering all of your questions so far. If you'd like to hear your question on the podcast, please send them to us on Instagram at Wheel Talk Podcast or by email to wheeltalkpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks.
Hi.
Hola. Had to mix it up.
Uh,
I was like, we're just going to hold the silence and just moment of silence. Hi.
Hi. How are you, Ryan?
Good. We're live.
We're live. Oof. Oh.
I feel like has your hair been that pink that long? Is that a recent establishment?
So you saw it purple to pink, right?
I don't remember. I mean, I can tell it's like all the way up to your roots, so
Yeah, so what
maybe
happened...
it's just the light too. Maybe you're in shadow.
No, it's a lot brighter. What happened was this. I dyed it like a dark red. So it was really red with black, but it turned purple. And then to like a pink then orange. And then the pink faded into the orange, whatever. Knew that was going to happen. But what happened, the problem was that the dye that I used on my roots, like the dark colors, was black and red. And it was like the Fox one. I don't know. It was a different brand than I normally use. And the brand that I normally use is Lime Crime. And I use that on the pinks all the way down. And the roots completely washed out in like 3 washes. And so I had to redo my whole hair with the Lime Crime. So that...
Why? So the I know nothing about coloring hair. Why would the roots wash out? Because it's a different brand that you were doing to redo your roots?
Yeah, it was just a different brand. And it just didn't hold as well. It was like a normal brand too. I think that Lime Crime is just a lot better, maybe. I don't know.
Is there something you have to do to your hair beforehand to like have it adhere better?
You have to bleach your hair. Yeah.
Okay.
Which I did, and it looked terrible. I do not.
Is that just because you're getting it as light as possible so that the
Yes.
color can like grab hold better?
Yeah.
I don't know the science behind that.
Yeah,
but
Rachel just dyed her hair pink.
she did.
Yeah.
It is not that bright a pink, but it is pink.
It is pink, and she
Pinkish,
bleached
purplish.
it. I'm sure she bleached it just a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I know she was telling me how long it was taking, and I was like, she's like, I got my appointment at like 9:30, and I should be done by like, I don't know, 2:33. I was like, what?
It takes a long time. It takes a long time.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And
I was like, no wonder it's so expensive. It's like most of somebody's day. Like that's like,
I know.
paying
I was gonna say,
whole day.
She didn't tell you how much it was, did she?
No, she did. I asked her afterwards.
Yeah.
But I wasn't surprised, honestly.
Wait, how much was it?
I mean, with tip, it was like $300.
That's not bad, actually. That's not bad. That's why I never go anywhere to do mine.
I was like, I mean, I understand why Becca does it herself, probably because you've done it enough times that.
Yeah, and I had a friend. I usually don't do I don't do the bleaching on my own. I will never bleach my own hair. I'm not going to say never, but I would prefer not to bleach my own hair. So I had a friend bleach my hair.
Is that just so you have the right dilution amount?
Yeah.
When you talk about bleaching, you're putting a percentage of bleach in with what, water? And you're just soaking it?
I don't even know, but it's like a chemical, and it can fucking fry your hair. Like we left it on the bottom of my hair way too long, and so it kind of like fucked it up, and it's all dry and shit. But I've regained its growth.
And you can't do it yourself because of the timing it takes to get it fully on all of your head, and then the time it takes to like soak or whatever, and then to remove it. It's like very time sensitive, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and you have to do it like at different stages. Like the roots will bleach a lot faster than the main hair, and then but like if you already have bleached hair, you have to put that on less because it's gonna
Okay.
it's like a process, and like you can completely fry your hair off if you do it wrong. And so I'm like, the way that I see bleaching your hair is the same way I see electrical work in a home. Like, don't do it.
Don't do it yourself.
Yeah, don't do it yourself unless you actually know what you're doing. But you can't see the back of your head. So
imagine how agile you can be with something that's attached to your body, that's on your head. Like, you can't really be that mobile around your head.
Yeah, and
when
so
it's like sensitive kind of
so
things.
I've always hired that out. Like, I paid my friend $100 to bleach my head. Like, it's not like I'm doing it, But I would rather pay her $100 than.
And they know what they're doing. They've done it before.
Yeah, she still fried my hair, but it's fine. Like, it's fine. Like, I have really long hair and I can cut it off, cut it at any point.
And by fry your hair, what do you mean by that? Does that just make it really thin and fragile?
Yeah, when I so it's much, much, much better now because I've done a lot of like conditioning treatments on it. But when she bleached it the first time, I took like a piece of hair and it just like stretched. It just like it
stretched?
Yeah, it was like so thin that it just like stretched. And it's like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was gross. It's gross, honestly. It's really gross. And it just like stretches. It doesn't snap. Like healthy hair snaps. Like just
what is that doing to the hair? Like,
I don't know, but now it'll snap off. It's still very thin.
Snaps, yeah.
It's still very, very thin. But yeah, I need to cut it though. It's a bit.
I'm sure it does feel a little different. Just
yeah. Anyway, how are you? How are we?
That's new.
We were just talking about bleach and all the things.
I'm trying to understanding hair treatments and stuff.
It's just all color theory. I like the color part. That's easy.
Oh yeah, of course. I figured otherwise why would you go through all that process?
Yeah. Now that Rachel has her hair bleached, I can color it for her. So.
Yeah, that's what she was saying. She was like, Becca's not going to bleach my hair, but I'll let her color it.
Yeah, I'm not fucking bleaching it. No, thank you. And the dye is only $15. Okay, now we can go. Now we can move.
Okay, so I guess one of the news things, I guess we went on a small like vacation trip to Florida over the weekend.
How was that?
About a week ago. We went to Fort Lauderdale and Miami. It was good. It kind of sparked, we were like, Rachel was putting in she was kind of talking about the transition from, the different job when she was kind of putting in her notice. And then kind of transitioning into the new work. And then also it's still winter-ish transitioning and back and forth to feeling like spring and then back and forth. So I was like, let's go somewhere that's like warm, that we can enjoy the winter a little bit. With some sunshine and whatnot. So I've been to Fort Lauderdale a number of times, probably like 20 times before.
Oh, wow.
Because that's where I went for work all the time.
Oh, okay.
Over the last 8 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Minus the last 2. So yeah, that's where we went.
Because now it's in North Carolina.
Well, yeah, if I go on site, I mean, there's still offices in Florida. It's just the people that I would go see are more likely in Raleigh, North Carolina than Fort Lauderdale, Florida. But yeah, so I mean, we knew some stuff around Florida and took Allegiant with her friend's buddy passes. So, Rachel isn't working anymore, so she can't use the benefits, but we got the buddy passes from a friend.
Yeah.
So it was, more reasonable price wise. And then, rental cars weren't really that bad, honestly.
Oh, that's good.
So we got rental car to get around and saw some stuff in Fort Lauderdale and then went down to Miami one day. There are just some places I don't, nothing about the traffic and stuff, but just like the density of people that are there is so overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's like everywhere even turning left. Imagine just here, you just go into the, the middle lane and you turn left across 2 or 3 lanes of traffic. Like, you can't really do that here unless you're at a light, or you got to go to an intersection and do a U-turn, come back, and then turn right into wherever you were trying to go into. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that's like how Chicago is. Like, going to Chicago is like the most infuriatingly annoying situation traffic-wise. It's just like,
I'm like,
there's so many people.
Yeah, it's like, I've got to go. So we were in Miami and whatnot. That took forever, but getting down to Miami from Fort Lauderdale took forever. So we like went to a lunch place that was, 30 minutes to lunch, which was 10 miles maybe. It took 30 minutes. And then, it's like, all right, we're going toward Miami because it's already going to be a long drive to Miami from wherever we're at. And then it was like another hour to get to South Beach in Miami. And then and that was a total of maybe 30 miles or, maybe something like that. I don't know. And then from there, we went from like South Beach to, the neighborhood, kind of like on downtown area, like from the Strip area to kind of take a bridge to get to the main area. And that took like another fucking 45 minutes. And it's like, we're traveling like 10 miles here. Like, why the hell does it have to? There's just so many people.
People in Miami must be really patient.
Or they just, I don't know. Yeah.
Or they have no souls.
Oh my gosh. I'm just like, there's so many cars everywhere. It wasn't too bad when we were traveling like back in the evenings from things. Like we went to a hockey game on Thursday. That gets done at like 10:30.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then you drive back and it's the same distance, but you get there in like 30 minutes instead of like an hour and 10 minutes or an hour.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy crap, this is like perfect. Just cruise at the speed limit or above the speed limit by a few miles an hour, and people are always zooming by you.
Yep.
And it's like, you really got to be aware to like, I'm not going to move from this lane because these people are going to zoom around me.
There was some nice cars down there, right? You said there was some nice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was like some, I didn't really see that many Ferraris, but I did see some, I probably saw 3 or 4 Lamborghinis, and of course Teslas are always there. Saw some Aston Martin. I saw like a Lamborghini SUV. It was like, kind of like a HRV, like a Honda HRV. You know what I'm talking about? It's kind of like a CRV, but the back end is like it's not high and then it comes down like my Rogue. It's kind of slanted down like a sedan.
I'm like, oh shit.
Did you
I
just
don't like that. That looks like a Porsche.
SUV?
Like, that's not even a Lamborghini. That's just like a. That's ugly.
It's weird because it's still like kind of low, but it's an SUV. I've never even seen one before. But of course, it was bright purple.
Of course.
And yeah, saw some cool cars down there. So
I don't like that.
Fun.
It looks cheaper than what, like, Lamborghinis, in my opinion, are like. They look like they cost a lot of money. I saw a Lamborghini today, actually.
And I'm sure that freaking SUV probably costs more than the car. Like,
yeah, and it's ugly. It's like, I mean, it's just not like sports car-y.
I think the color always brings it to the sports car look, but I feel like I only saw the rear end though. I don't know that I saw what the front looked like, but I assume it like slopes down.
I'm gonna share my screen with you really quick. Okay, I'm on the Lamborghini page for pictures, and then I pushed old, and there's a Lamborghini LM002.
I don't see it yet. If you're sharing something,
start sharing.
What do you mean old?
It looks like a Jeep.
Oh, like. Oh my gosh.
That's cool.
Yeah, that doesn't look like a Lamborghini at all.
No, but I kind of love it. Now I have a new dream car.
A Lamborghini SUV from, I don't know, 1986?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I don't know.
So do you see the newer ones in there? Oh, yeah, that one looks kind of like it.
Yeah, there's a few newer ones.
That red one, that looks like what I saw.
Yeah, sorry, and we're not really a car podcast, but here's the thing: me and Ryan both love cars.
Yeah, I just think they're cool looking and stuff. I don't really know too much about, all the different fanciness under the hood and all that shit, but I know they look cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite car as a kid was always like a Dodge Viper for some reason. I
Yeah.
think I had the little like toy cars, and I don't
Yeah.
even know if they still make those, but probably like a typical like '90s was like the sweet spot when that was like just getting. You had like the car posters and stuff.
Yeah. Gosh, yeah.
So
This weekend we went to like I don't want to say it was I don't know if it was an impromptu car show, but it was a smaller car show at one of the detailing shop. It's not no, it's not a detailer. They do not originals. They do reproductions of Cobra GTIs. So everything's like electrical and stuff like that. So but they look old. And there was two no, there's three McLarens. Three McLarens.
nice.
A DeLorean. Which was great. A couple of like
Nice.
classics. And I can't remember.
There was like a shop in Miami that had their doors open, and there was a DeLorean inside the shop. I should have taken a damn picture of it, but I
dope.
didn't. It was like black looking though. It looked like they
That's
did something
cool.
fancy to it.
I
But it
love
looked cool, though.
DeLoreans. They're so clumsy looking. Oh, they're fabulous. There was a Supra there. There was like a couple. Yeah, there were some great cars. There were some shitty cars that people think are great, but that's fine, whatever. And there were some
They
classics.
have like a Mitsubishi Eclipse in there from like
Right, yeah.
Fast and Furious 2.
Yeah, well, they had the new Supra, which I don't think is that cool looking. Like, the old Supras are way cooler looking, but, like, also, they're still not that cool. Like, the Toyota Supra is like it's like the average man's supercar.
Yeah.
But, whatever. My brother has a 70s Toyota Supra, so.
Isn't the Supra? Is that the Fast and Furious? Wasn't there a Supra on that movie, The Fast and Furious? I feel like that was like Jesse's car.
Yeah,
no,
there
he
was.
drove like a Volkswagen, but there was a Supra.
There was a Supra. Yeah, there was. It was that
I don't
Supra.
remember who
It was
had
it was like a replication of that Supra. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah,
But
that
it was
was
like a
that
beautiful
was the
day.
weekend.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. It was like 80. It was like 80 there.
Nice.
Definitely
it was like 70 this
want to
weekend.
go there
here.
when it's in the winter. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was beautiful when we got back for a day or two.
Yeah, now it's shitty. That's okay.
Yeah.
So
So I've just been working in the studio making new stuff these days. So luckily, yeah, you're about to say gas. Luckily, we didn't have to drive anywhere. Don't have to.
I know.
necessarily drive
I'm
anywhere.
not coming down for a while.
No.
I was like,
Oh my gosh, I listen.
Oh, go on.
I listen to these like political podcasts about. It's called Breaking Points. If anybody wants to listen to it, they're like independent journalists, so it's not like Fox or CNN or whatever. But yeah, they talk about like impacts of gas and stuff that it could get like $5, $6, like impacts of making decisions about cutting off like Russia from gas, how it's going to impact like the world market as well as just the U.S. market, even though we don't import, but like 3% of our gas supply from them. It's like kind of interesting how to see how it all fits together and the impacts. But yeah, somebody I work with was like, oh yeah, we were planning on going on a trip for the kids' spring break or something, and they were talking about going to Florida, and they were asking about Fort Lauderdale or something, or maybe she just was in passing mentioning that they were going to go there. And then they were like, and then we were looking at gas prices, and we just decided to go to somewhere else that's closer near North Carolina. So they're going somewhere closer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can imagine like a family. I mean, it's like all those miles. I don't even know how much you fill up, but like no more cross country trips in the near future.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad I got mine out of the way.
Oh man. And Sarah and Merritt just left like a week ago, right?
I know. If you guys want a fun little adventure to see, it's Mobile Makers on Instagram, and it's Sarah Anderson and Merritt Metzger. And yeah, they just left probably like last week or the beginning of this week. I don't know. And
Mobile Makers Clay.
Mobile
on
Makers
Instagram.
Clay. Yeah, and what's really sad is that they've been freaking out about gas prices this whole time anyway, because they were towing a trailer and Sarah's car is a gas guzzler anyway. She has a Toyota
Cruiser or something?
Cruiser, yeah.
It looks-
And not PT Cruiser, whatever that big one is.
Is it
FJ Cruiser,
FJ
yeah.
or-
Yeah, and so she was like, I have a gas guzzler anyway, and they like
And they're going to the west.
yeah, and so they
gas is
average their
already more
gas
expensive than
prices.
that.
Yeah, they average their gas prices at $3.50, and I was like, that's not going to be enough.
Yeah, you need to average
I
it
do
like
feel-
$5 at least.
Yeah, I do feel bad that they aren't like, that it's like right in the middle of this. I'm sure they're,
Yeah,
but
because
it looks like they're having a blast. So
yeah, it looks awesome. I'm seeing like the dunes pictures in
Yeah.
New Mexico, and it's pretty cool.
yeah, and they took Pip, Sarah's dog, who's the cutest, and yeah,
Yeah. So they're actively sleeping in the camper or in tents
in the camper.
everywhere they're at?
Yeah.
In the camper. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, I think they're having a lot of fun. So they're already roommates anyway, so they live with each other, so they can handle that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little smaller quarters, and the dog adds a little bit of extra
yeah,
just
a little.
pizzazz there.
Yeah. Okay,
Man.
so should we continue on to our?
Sure.
All right.
So we're gonna do a what would you do if? This one
Yes.
should be good. What would you do if you were swarmed by a horde of cats?
It depends on if they were mean cats or friendly cats. If I will do both scenarios. If I was swarmed by a horde of mean cats, I'd probably run away, and freak out. But if I was swarmed by a bunch of really nice cats, I'd probably just sit down.
Sit down. What would be a good place to get swarmed by a horde of cats?
In grass.
Grass. That would be good too. Yeah. And then you try to like run away from angry ones, and you're like running into a tree or something.
Yeah.
Or like jungle gym something. Make it hard for them to run up.
Yeah. What would you do if you were hoarded by?
I was assuming it was friendly cats, but I didn't think about the angry cats. Not all cats are friendly. Yeah, I'd probably book it. I don't know if you'd know that they were angry until they got up to you, but hopefully they would usually they would like put their anger out on each other, right? When they're around each other.
You would
They
think.
probably tend to fight each other instead of me. Why would they collectively swarm to me?
Yeah. Oh man, angry cats are really not nice. Lloyd and Babs have been fighting recently, and
Yeah.
fucking Lloyd, he's such an asshole. Like Babs is also an asshole, but Lloyd is like one of those cats that he gets on the bed, he sniffs Babs, and he whacks her in the face.
Sniffs her like her face or like
Yeah.
her rear end or what?
Yeah, sniffs her face and then just whacks her in the face. But she hisses at him, so it kind of like spurs this thing. Like a
Back
lot
and
of the
forth.
times when he sniffs her, he's like wants to play and is like loving on her, and she still gets fucking pissed at him. She's like, "Get the fuck away from me."
Yeah. Sometimes we'll like hold Marble, and then Autumn will like. If we move Marble kind of by Autumn, she'll like lick her head,
Yeah.
and then she'll hiss at her, and it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I don't get
why
that.
are you even making contact licking? And then you're gonna get like aggressive. I don't get it.
Like Lloyd like puts up his paw and is like, like, really fast. And it's so funny because like I could care less if they're fighting, like unless I'm in between in the middle, I could care less. But like when Jamil is here, he's like, "Hey, stop it!" And he like cares so much, and I'm just like, just let them fight. It's fine. Like,
He's like, hey, you all cut that out.
and
Quit
he
it.
like protects Babs. Like, Babs can literally do nothing wrong.
It's like Autumn.
Yes. Babs
Except
can,
Autumn like does dumb shit, and then it's like
yeah.
she doesn't even know when it's like dumb.
Yeah.
Marble's just like aggressive.
Babs is like the perfect
okay,
child.
Yes. And if it was Friendly Cast, I would definitely just lay there like a starfish
Starfish.
in grass.
Will you do that face? Will you do that again?
Like a starfish?
Okay, I took a picture. I'm going to post it on our Instagram.
With arms wide open?
Arms wide open. I don't actually know that. I know the song.
That's not how it goes.
I know, but I
It's
can't.
Creed.
I can't remember how it goes. So I just made it up. Anyway, moving on.
All right.
We're going to do like a short-ish episode today, hopefully. We're already 25 minutes in. So we're going to shoot for an hour.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah. And we got a question from Aletha Bean, our VIL.
Aletha.
Very important listener. Or VLP. No. VIL.
MVL?
MVL.
Most valuable listeners?
No, VIL. Very important listener.
Okay. I thought you already said that.
I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Here's her question. So she says, some backstory. I'm doing an update. I'm posting like crazy. I set a timer and it's been stated that they'll all be ready with lots of pictures at XYZ time. But I'm getting a bunch of messages from people who want to know more about specific pieces before they're actually available. I'm so grateful for the interest, but it's the type of stuff that will be in the listings descriptions at XYZ time. Is it dishwasher safe? How big is it? Can I get more pictures? What kind of stuff? If I answer every request for info, I'd be taking hours and hours to send pictures and measurements and DMs. What do you do? How do you respond? And how do you feel when people want the personal shopping experience?
Oh, back
P.S. Because while I'm reading this, everybody
I could just see you answering
this.
this. You'd be like, I'm not going to answer shit.
P.S. I'm
Lower those
shy.
expectations.
I'm shy to ask this because I feel like a whiny, ungrateful asshole. LOL. You're not. First of all, let's get that out of the way. You're not a whiny, ungrateful asshole because people shouldn't be doing what they're doing because they should be reading what you're saying instead of being like, I'm the exception. Tell me all these things. No, bitch.
Have you had that situation happen?
No,
You're like prepping for stuff and people ask for details. I mean, you've kind of set that boundary though. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I set a real hard boundary. Like, I think that people would feel like a super dick asking me, like, oh, what is this and this? And I always respond with, it'll be ready here at this time. Good luck.
So I'm reading at the beginning of it. So it says already with lots of pictures at XYZ time. I don't know if that means everything is live to purchase at that time. I'm guessing that's what she means. Like, you can get all the details you want when they go live.
Yeah, which
and
is
people just
difficult.
want to know the specifics before. It sounds like people kind of want like a preview.
A preview. Yeah.
I mean, the overkill to me is the whole, the measurements and shit. Like,
yeah,
maybe giving just general estimates about like all of my mugs hold between 10 and 12 ounces. And here's what they look like. I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't mind like an informal like preview on stories, but that does take a lot of time too. I think that might curtails avoid some of those questions, but
yeah. So I just did an update.
cup date?
A pot drop. A pot drop. A
pot
cup
drop.
date. I just did one last Friday, Saturday, on Saturday, and
Fancy cup date.
a fancy cup, a fuck date. Sorry, a fact date.
A fup date.
A fup date? A fup date. Anyway,
A fan update. A fan
update. A fan update. A fan update. Anyway.
Fan update.
So I just did one, and I know exactly what she's talking about, because I think the first time I ever did an update, I was like, oh shit, I have to preview everything. Because like the people that have their shit together, like the ones that have been doing like updates forever, like they put it on their website. So beforehand, and I had like a shitty ass website, and you couldn't like, so there's a couple ways you can do this to prevent all these people from being like this. Either you can say tough shit, they're going to be available now, or you can do the pictures and everything like a day before the update and just say, hey, you have to wait for it till this time, and just have that be a response, that you have. I know that a lot of people have, like, Isaac Shue will put his all on the website and have them be sold out, quote unquote. So like no stock. And then when like 20 minutes before the update, he will go in and convert, like take everything off the website, and convert it to one, stock. And so it actually, so they're available. That's an extreme, I think that's a really good way to do it. And
hopefully it doesn't take a ton of your time to make that happen, though. I just did look. Aletha has a Etsy shop, by the way, so.
Oh, can you do?
That preview option is not an option on Etsy.
You can't do a preview option on Etsy?
No.
Well, fuck you, Etsy. Okay, then the other option is this. Pictures. So I don't know what she does as far as numbers are concerned, or like how she categorizes things, but I always put numbers on all of my pieces that I'm selling online. That way I can pack them easily, and it's just like really simple to put them up and to, everything like that. So like what I did was I just took a picture of everything beforehand and just put it on my stories and was like, there you go. Like, somebody before the update was like, hey, can you, the one that's on the right that has the polka dots that's like this and this and this, and like, could you tell me which number that's gonna be? And I was like, no, I can't, I don't know. And then I was like, here, here's a picture of all of them with numbers on them, and then they found which one.
They do the job, they do the work instead of you cherry picking items and showing in.
Yeah. And I would say, if they are so concerned about the size and all the things, then
do you think that's just a matter of they're used to some shops selling out and they have to get it immediately and they have to know all those details? Or do you think they're doing it because they want the attention of that, all those details?
I don't know.
Because that's what kind of shopper they are.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that in this world of updates you can be that picky. What do you think?
Yeah, it sounds a little counterintuitive for business sense to say this, but if you honestly don't sell out, like, I think it's totally fine to tell people, I'm not going to sell out immediately. You have time. I would encourage you to get there when it goes live. Spend your time looking at what you want. Maybe get an idea of what you want beforehand. But, like, if you see it and it matches what you want, get it. or if you have any like groundbreaking questions that is definitely going to affect your purchasing that is not answered in the description of the piece that you're looking at, then let me know.
Yeah,
but I do my best to provide as much detail as I can, which should include like, capacity, fluid ounces or milliliters or whatever you measure in, the dimensions, if that matters to you. Honestly, I was doing dimension. I mean, I do dimensions for like the size of the box, but like it's overkill for me to put dimensions of mugs and stuff. It's really just, showing my hand in a photo to show how big it is in relation to my hand, so you can see how many fingers the handle is. I think that's important.
I started doing that too with holding the cups.
That's usually my first picture now, so you can see how big. But you also don't know the size of my hands, so. But you kind of get an idea.
You can have Isaac hands.
Yeah.
Isaac hands are
some people
huge.
are like, this mug is ginormous, but I mean that's where the fluid ounces should factor in.
Yeah.
So, I think those are the most important parts, and then obviously the colors and stuff, and dishwasher safe, microwave safe. Like, you could just easily mention that in just a story and just say, hey, everything's gonna go live, the day before, and just say like, just a reminder, everything is dishwasher microwave safe. The things that are not microwave safe have gold on them, or whatever, gold is not microwave safe. So, I encourage you to hand wash if you're careful, but you can also dishwash if you don't want to go through that trouble. That kind of stuff. But that should also be in the box and whatnot when you send it out, if it's important to you to include those details. But
yeah, I think the only reasonable question, honestly, in my opinion, the only reasonable question before an update is how much should I budget for a cup? That's the only reasonable question, because that's not usually available. If nobody's ever bought anything from you, like somebody saying, hey, how much are the mugs? $100 or $75 or whatever. That's a reasonable question. That's easy to answer. But I think all of the other questions they have to wait, And if you're that fucking picky, then you have to read the description and suffer the consequences if it gets sold out from under you.
Go through those details, yeah.
Like, so Aletha, that's how I feel. In response to
I think you realistically have to put some of that burden on the customer, that if they're gonna have to meet you more than halfway if they want all those details. They can't expect you to spend. I mean, at a minimum, it'll take you. It might take you 5 or 10 minutes to get all the details, because like you're doing something, right? You're in the studio, you're prepping something, or you're eating your morning breakfast and you're seeing messages come through, and then you're like, somebody wants to know about this mug that's going to be in the update. I got to go down to the studio, find that mug in the batch of 50 pieces, let's say. You've got to get the dimensions or get whatever they're asking for. If it's like fluid ounces, you got to pour water in, you got to measure it, you got to do whatever. That's going to take at least 5 minutes to do that.
Or you could be like me and say they could be 12 to 14 ounces. We don't know.
I mean, that's honestly good enough. And they probably would be fine with that answer.
I still have never.
And over time, you probably know. Like, I stopped measuring fluid ounces on mugs because I've done so many that I'm like, these hold about 12 ounces.
I have never measured the tiny cups that I do, the mini cups.
What you'd have to do is measure it once, and you're like, I know how much clay I use. They're always about the same size, so they always hold 4 ounces.
I think they're 6 ounces, but they could be 4. I don't know.
Just do it once, like.
Yeah, but then I lied on all the things, and I'd rather be ignorant. Anyway,
that's like saying your stuff is food safe when you haven't tested it. No, it's not that bad.
No, it's definitely not that bad. I do think that the way that you respond is important, I think a quick
don't give them a reason to not buy from you. Don't do that.
Yeah, you can either wait to respond until your sale goes live or whenever the pictures are up and be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was so busy doing the work.
I was so busy getting ready for my update that my priority was on getting everything ready.
It's
rather
live.
Than
Here's
to
the location. Yeah. Or you can just politely say, all the information will be available when the update goes, or at this time, and also I think that it's important to maybe, if you are getting people like this, maybe just do a quick story before you even get through the process, and just be like, hey, I've gotten a lot of questions in the past. All your questions will be answered at this time when this part goes live.
Yeah.
You can do a quick story like that, and then hopefully they read that, even though we know they won't.
Honestly, that way it's easy to consume. If somebody actually wants those details, they don't have to listen to it.
Yes,
they can just see all the details written down. So
Yep.
Got some questions about my update. Here's some things to expect. There's going to be this item, this item, this item, this item in this sale. What bottles, mugs, whatever. These type of mugs are going to be my mugs range from $40 to $70.
Yeah.
Maybe that's good enough, or maybe you show a sample of one and say these are about $45.
Yeah. Maybe a what to expect story.
Yeah.
Just
I don't know, some of those
text.
shops that do restocks all the time, it's there's a reason they put all those FAQs. There's a reason Pitch Pine has to have an FAQ section, because they're trying to deter all the questions that they don't want to fucking answer, because they get asked them all the time.
Seriously. I couldn't
So it's
handle that.
I get it. They're saving their time,
100%.
but it's it's only as good as people that go read them, because you spent the time to put them together. But
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've done the Instagram story previews the day before. That's usually what I would typically do.
Yeah.
I stopped doing that for every single piece. I started doing if I'm putting up 15 or 20 pieces, I'll put 2 pieces in a story at a time, so that it's not 20 stories, it's 10 stories. So if it's mugs, I'll put different color mugs in there, so you can obviously tell the differences, and you can see a couple. You get 15 seconds to show 2 things. That's not really outrageous. You don't have to show every single detail of the piece. And just kind of high level, here's what it is. In the past, I've done putting item numbers. I feel like that was overkill for me. I didn't have people buying enough of my stuff so quickly that it was unique enough that I needed to put item numbers on them.
Right.
Yours are very unique one to the next, so at least the fancy cups are. So
Yeah.
you kind of need the numbers,
And then there's
it's
some
probably
that,
easier for you packing too.
Yeah, and then there's some that are kind of the same, and then it just makes it a little easier. And I end up putting the sticker on the bottom, and when I send it to them, it's kind of like a reassurance, you got this one,
Right.
Here, hooray, you got it.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah. Oh, should I tell? Do you want to know how much I made?
Yeah, I want to hear that. How many did you post, I guess, to start?
Good question. I posted 38 pieces. I posted 20 big ones and 18 small ones.
Nice.
I'm just going to the shop.
And when you say big, for anybody listening,
just
when you say
regular
big,
size.
you're talking 12 ounce.
12 to 14 ounces. That's what we think.
12
at
to
least.
14, and then they're kind of like minis. I would call them minis, kind of. Otherwise,
Yeah,
like
I call them
minis.
Mini fancy
They're
cup.
6 ounce.
The MFC, the mini fancy cup.
The motherfucking cup.
Fuck! Oh my god!
The mini fancy cup, also known as motherfucking cup.
The motherfucking cup. Anyway, moving on. So I sold 15 of the small ones and
15 of the 18? Damn.
15 of the MFCs. Yeah, of the 18.
Nice.
And
That's
then
pretty good.
yeah, and then I have 8 left.
That's as of a week and 2 days ago, or 3 days ago. Okay.
No,
So 10
it
days
was this
from release.
Saturday. No, it was this Saturday.
Oh, okay. I was thinking March 1st.
It was March 5th.
Like the 5th. Okay. So just
Yeah,
a few
and
days.
then-
Okay. How many
and
big
then
ones did you say?
I sold 12 of the big ones, I believe.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So
12 and...
So it was
12 and how many?
12 and 15. So it came out to $21.64 was what I made. I think that's with taxes and shit like that.
Damn. It's 70% of the stock. That's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. And
a little over 2,000? Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. Which
Nice.
was great because I had a credit card that I had to pay off because of all the traveling I did, and it was like $2,800, which was a lot. Is a lot for me. I don't know what everybody else's credit cards look like, but mine usually.
And that's because you're not carrying over balances, is why, right? You're not carrying balances month to month. You're paying it off, but
I pay
$2,800 in a month.
That's a lot. Sure.
Yeah, that's a lot for one person.
That's a lot. And so that was just like driving and the gas and all those stuff. So I really needed at least $2,000 so I could pay that off because it was due on the 8th.
Nice. So you paid that bad boy off yesterday, huh?
Yeah, I did. I paid it off. It was great.
Nice.
Yeah, now I'm credit card free. Well, for the most part. I had a little extra, and I was like, oh, I just won't pay it all off. I'll just keep that. I'll just wait. Wait to
You're
pay
just
off
like
the
weaning yourself off a little bit.
Yeah. But, yeah, so I was really excited about that. And most of it happened, I think I had made $1,600 the night of, and it was 7 p.m., so.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So did you anticipate that? I mean, you always say have low expectations for the customers, but do you tend to have low expectations on your side too, or do you? Okay. I
anticipated at least $1,500.
Okay.
But I think that mostly because I think the MFCs, the mini fancy cups, the motherfucking fancy cups, the MFCs are the right price. I think I need to make way more of those.
Yeah, what are they priced at?
They're 50. And the big ones are 100.
Big ones are
100.
50 is way more attainable.
Yeah, and really they're so cute. like they're
And they're small, they're small and they're soft and
they're real cute.
I mean, they're real small, but you can use them like by your sink, you can use them for a little bit of like liquor or whatever. I mean, I'm sure you got a number of things that you were talking about, but
yeah.
You know, you're not going to drink like a bunch of iced tea out of it or something, but
no,
you know, it's got some different uses that you're going to use it for a special occasion, which is kind of
idea. Yeah, and like you could still like if somebody drank less, like you know, not everybody drinks a ton of wine. But, like if somebody drinks like a little bit of wine or just wants a little nightcap, like it'd be perfect for that. A whiskey sipper, it'd be perfect for that. So, anyway, yeah, I was really happy with those and. Everything in this update was like not my normal style because I was going through like a hardcore depressive state. And so
and you were like rushed. I mean, you were down in the last days of it, you know.
Yeah, I definitely do not plan updates for this very reason. But yeah. So there's still some up there, and they're all kind of they're not sloppy, but they are like they're pretty sloppy, in a good way. They're very like loose. I should have used loose the first time. They're loose, and yeah. So anyway.
Okay, can you hear me? Can I hear you?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
What the fuck happened, man?
My Skype keeps prompting me for some shit, and I don't know why. All right. I missed whatever you said after, I don't know.
I can't even remember.
We ended with, like, you need to make a lot more of them, and I don't know if you continued on with why you need to make more of them or what, but...
Whatever.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I noted it so that we can cut that out so people don't have to deal with you saying my audio. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think if I learned anything from this past update about.
Was the work that you put in easier?
I think so.
Do
Was
you
it
think it's
worth the money?
Was it
Yes.
worth? Yeah.
Because I'm not
Would
going
you
into the
price them the
studio
same
every
if
day.
you would have? Yeah, if you would have made the smaller ones, would they have been priced the exact same if you would have did your fancy designs on them, or would they have been more expensive?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, they still take time. Everything still takes time. So it's
But is it like 10% less time? Is it like 20% less time? Like efficiency wise, you probably were more efficient with these. Just looking at like small, if you made the designs the exact same for the small versus like the fancy small, that's like some of the more graphical.
I feel like the small ones, like the ones I did with like the squares and stuff, I don't think those would sell first. And I'm not sure. I can't say that for sure. But I'm not going to do something super, super technical on the small ones.
It's just not enough canvas, right? And it doesn't have enough space to like breathe and to like get the whole look of the design, right?
Yeah, but I really enjoyed doing the gradients, and I think that would be fun to kind of like I think that people kind of know me for my gradients anyway, but it would be cool to kind of like explore that a little bit more and see how that goes. There were some cups that were just all gradients, and they sold out faster than any of the other cups. So
by gradients, you're talking about the newer design ones that were I called it like a splotchy gradient kind of.
Yeah. It's like a
but it goes all the way around the cup. It's not on a certain like graphical geometric section.
Yeah, but it would be cool to do that kind of thing and then take tape off, and see if I can do like fun little things with that.
Oh. Yeah. Like use the negative space to be just like, oh, that would be sweet.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And we'll see.
That's cool. Because you got like thin tape and stuff. Like that's what you're using for some of your designs, right? So you just... Oh, okay. That's sweet. What about the dot ones? I feel like the dot ones are those pretty popular? I feel like
the dot
you're kind of figuring out what color scheme
Yeah,
works
the color
for the dots.
dot ones were really popular. The non-color dot ones were not popular. So
the monochrome, like the gray, black, white.
Yeah, and I thought those would be popular, but apparently they're not. So that's fine. Totally fine.
Are there certain like color schemes where you'd be like, okay, these are my color dots, but they're like warm tones, and then this is like
we'll see,
purple, blue, green, so it's like kind of a certain
I think what's important to do in the color dots is to always have at least one color that's really bold, like because I did the like lighter colors and they didn't do as well, the more pastel-y colors. You always need one color that just pops out so that it makes it look like there's contrast. But also, this was fun. I tried this time, and it worked, and I'm really happy about it. So I normally would make them, bisque them, sand them, paint them, and then sand them around the design after glaze.
Okay.
So fire to cone 5. Sand them around the design after glaze. What I did this time was I bisqued them and I sanded them. What did I do?
Because you normally put the color on after they're bisqued, so...
Yeah, so I bisqued them, I sanded them, and then I fired them completely blank. And then I...
To cone 5.
Yes, to cone 5. And then I sanded them, and then I put stroke and coats on them. And then I bisqued them again. And they were super fucking smooth after I took them out of the bisque, which has never happened before. Like the dot ones especially, they were rough under the dots.
Oh. So because the stroke and coats have a range, right? Like they have like a low bisque range all the way up to cone 5 or whatever. And
really technically, I could probably once fire them sand them all down, paint them, and then bisque them.
Yeah, like the process of loading them into a bisque, taking them out, sanding them, and then loading them back in is overkill.
Potentially. We'll have to see. Yeah. But it was good for... it was good.
Because they're thin anyway, so you just take it slower and just go all the way up to cone 5 and
you can just bisque
temperature.
You can literally bisque to cone 5. It would be fine.
Yeah. And then you take it out, sand it. Do you have to do a lot of cleaning and whatnot after they're sanded? You probably do, right?
I just dunk them in water.
Submerge them in water. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that was it was a good experiment to do. It was kind of like last minute, and I shouldn't have been doing it last minute, but I did it anyway, and I'm glad that I did.
And were the gradients, that's underglaze, right? So that's still underglaze on bisque?
I think they would look good with a shiny on top, but that kind of like defeats the whole point of like how they feel. They feel cool.
But you put some dots on them, right? Were those stroke and coat dots?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Nice. Yeah, I did that small little pre-sale update thing, the this or that thing. I'm trying to see where we're at on time. We're at 57. So that was kind of an experiment for people that don't know, it was kind of a trial of saying, I have these 2 glaze combos. Vote on your favorite.
Yeah.
In a Google form that I linked to for about 3 or 4 days. Go vote on your favorite. The winner is going to be chosen to have kind of a pre-sale, but basically bisque items will get that glaze, and then I'll put a bunch of them up. And they'll basically be ready to order when the winner is announced. So it was about a week between when I first had voting start and then closed voting 2 or 3 days before I announced it, and then a winner announced, and then the mugs were available immediately. I did not sell. I sold like 2 of them. I don't understand why. And I was getting ahead of myself. I was like, oh man, I'm going to get so many people that like, because I did the voting on Wednesday. I got a bunch of votes, closed on Saturday. I got like 110 votes over the whole time. And then in addition to that vote of just the, just asking for your favorite, I said, if you want to get on my mailing list to get first dibs, because I did tell the mailing list first, they could put their email in there. So it was kind of a way to generate mailing list people, as well as just get a consistency of, you know, I announced my mailing list, hey, I'm doing this thing, go vote. That's all you got to do. And then I told social media, hey, I'm doing this thing, go vote. And then on Tuesday morning at like 9 a.m., I announced it to the mailing list. I think I got 2 orders that morning. And then I announced it on social media later that day at like 6 p.m. of like, hey, the winner's announced. Go here to buy it if you want. It'll ship about 7 days later, because I was going on my trip. So I didn't want to promise that I was going to ship stuff when I was going to be gone. So
yeah.
So I don't know. I ended up unloading the pieces on Tuesday because I was getting them ready and wanted to make sure like I didn't screw myself, like some catastrophic happened when I got them out of the kiln or something, and I promised people that they'd be available, and I'd screw myself basically, because I was like all of my white mugs that are like that design. So now I've got like 16 mugs that are glazed in that design that I've like got sitting around. So I don't know what the fuck happened. I have a couple suspicions, but I don't know. You kind of saw what went into it, right? You kind of understand.
Yeah.
Like, the gist. Do you have any speculation?
No.
I have a couple, but I'm curious what you think. No?
I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like
I don't know if it's the delay or... Go ahead. What do you think?
It's not the shipping delay.
No, I think it's the delay between like voting on something and then it actually being live, and like the time of the week when it was set live. Like, I think people were more excited about it over the weekend. like leading into the weekend, if I made them live like on the weekend, that might have generated better sales than on a Tuesday.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I set them live on March 1st.
Yeah.
Because it was like, hey, this is this release for March, and then I'm gonna try to do it every now and then, but it's gonna be like the beginning of a month. So. Yeah. You saw which one won, right?
Yeah, it was the beach
color
one.
Combo. The beachy one, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was between like a beachy one that was like brand new. I'd never used that glaze combo before. And then the other one is a blue and white one, which I use with shot glasses, but I haven't done in mugs. I sold like a couple in the winter.
Yeah.
So my suspicion, sort of, I don't know if it has much weight, but it's just my suspicion, was, for one, the timing of like it went live, voting closed Saturday. Okay. And then, you know, people might have voted Wednesday, and then they found out it went live on Tuesday. I don't know if people set their calendars. I don't even think I put a countdown on my Instagram or whatever.
Okay.
My black and white one got some good traction on Reels, so a lot of people saw that one. Mm-hmm. But my suspicion was the timing of when everything happened was right when the invasion of Ukraine happened, which matched with the Ukraine flag of the blue and the yellow. So there was some like fundraising happening and some potters doing things with Ukraine around that time.
Yeah.
And I suspect that there was a association of my glaze combo being related to the Ukraine flag.
Ah.
And that maybe when it went live, it seemed like I was like completely leaving out that it was any way associated with that.
I did not.
But it wasn't.
I don't.
Maybe I'm just digging deep on here.
I don't know. Digging too deep. But I do think that you hit on something. I do think that it was right when Russia invaded Ukraine, and people were not thinking about buying pots right then.
Yeah. Because I started the voting like the week of that.
Yeah.
So it was Wednesday. No, yeah, it was the Wednesday before. And then I think the invasion happened on Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
So like some shit was going down, and then the weekend, and there was it was everywhere. And then I think that not necessarily like, I think you're just hitting on like, hey, there were other things happening and people were diverting money other places.
Yeah.
Whereas like, you know, I kind of held myself to this schedule, but like shit happened. But also like somebody commented on my post that just had some flags, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even associate it with that at all.
I didn't
until
either.
You just commented that. But it was like, and then somebody else commented like innocently, like one of my returning customers that was like, hey, I saw this for some reason. I thought it was a fundraising post because I've seen a bunch of these different people doing fundraisers for Ukraine, and I was confused. And I commented back. I was like, honestly, I did not associate that until I saw a comment about that. And then I was like, maybe, I was like, yeah, I didn't even think of that. And that was honestly part of the reason maybe that I was underwhelmed with sales, but
yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even see that.
But do you see that?
Yeah, I see it now.
When you look at it, you're like, okay, I see it.
Yeah, I see it now. I just like, look at yeah.
Yeah. But I think that brings up a like more generally than my specific situation. I think it brings up a good point about like as things shift like globally with some of these things.
Yeah.
Like it could impact people's a bit, like even just we were talking about gas prices at the beginning, like that's going to affect people's ability to spend money and have discretionary money to just spend on like luxury things like pottery. Yeah. That I think we need to consider.
Absolutely.
As we go forward, because not to say like you shouldn't be making things because people won't have money to spend on them, but like maybe set your expectations a little bit.
Yeah, like appropriately.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. But I think it was definitely interesting. It's not like I can't use the mugs at all, but
Yeah.
yeah, so we'll figure that out.
Personally, I would never buy that color combination. Like, unless it was for Ukraine. Like, yellow and blue is like...
Do you see why it got the most votes?
No.
Like, I think it's because it looks like a beach. With
beach.
water and like
Yeah.
the sand.
I personally think that yellow and blue together are gross. But that's me. Yep.
Yeah.
Unless there's green involved, I'm out.
I don't know. I'm like, and then I'm thinking like, okay, that one won. Like, what do I want to do with it? Like, do I keep, what do I do going forward with it? Do I keep the one that lost in here for the next month or the next time I do it and then enter in another color? Or do I just pick two colors that I think would be cool?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. Like, just because people vote for one that they like better doesn't mean you're going to get sales like,
right,
associated with it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like Instagram, right? Just because people like a lot of a photo doesn't mean that
totally
it's going to generate sales. So I don't know. And
conundrums.
I didn't put as much into like the preview stuff like Elite is talking about. I didn't put I kind of led up to it, but I kept it kind of secretive of like, I'm not going to tell you who won and all that stuff, but it's like all the mugs are going to be about the same size.
Yeah. Maybe it's because you didn't make a big deal about it, like, at all.
Yeah. I made a deal about it for like a week.
Yeah.
It was like, I got this idea in my mind, telling you all about this idea on Wednesday. Go vote now. It's a brand new thing I'm trying.
That didn't work.
And then I got like 30 or 35 people join my mailing list, so I think that was a positive.
Yeah.
And it kind of got me over that hurdle of not wanting to send to my mailing list. Like, I can come up with a email for them.
Yeah.
I did 2 emails, and I don't think I've even done an email since this year started. It's already March. So,
oof.
March. Getting a couple in the works, and I'm like, maybe this is a good way to just try something out. Like, I thought it was good marketing the way I did the emailing of it, but yeah, I don't know that the hype was there.
Yeah.
But hey, we learn. Figure out what works, what doesn't.
If you can't fail, you can't learn.
So.
Yep.
I am trying to figure out I am discovering some new colors, which I think is good because I kind of get static with some of my color combos and just stick to the ones that I know are going to sell, but I kind of do want to introduce some new combos just for shows and just get some feedback and see what works and what doesn't.
You should get a purple.
A purple. Oh man, Baker Hunt has this new matte purple. It's called Amethyst. It's pretty cool looking. I kind of got this one glaze combo with the Joe's Green and the Inferno Red that kind of makes it look like a shimmery. It's got hints of purple underlying, but it's not purple.
Yeah.
But
a matte purple would be dope.
Yeah, that would be sweet. Yeah, that would be nice. I bet that would look really good on this speckled clay.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to be making a new glaze combo for it, but I don't know. Maybe I'll do some experiments. I have so many glazes that I'm I don't know. Maybe I'll dig into that John Britt book and look up a purple. There are some good ones in there.
Yeah.
Did you had a purple cranberry kind of, didn't you?
Yeah, that was June Perry purple.
Okay.
And but I think if you added more, I really do think that if you had increased the cobalt or decreased the tin, that you would really get a purple, and maybe took out the chrome. So there's a tiny touch of chrome, and then there's tin, which is probably it's probably 75% to a maybe 25% cobalt. And if you up the cobalt, decrease the tin, and took out the chrome, I think that it would be more of a purple. I could be wrong. But that's my, like, when I approach glazing, I approached glazing like an artist. And I just, like, figured out...
A little less of this, a little more of that.
Yeah, and I just, like, figured out what the oxides colors are, and then I was like, okay.
You kind of do it like paint a little bit.
Like, if I use yellow iron oxide and a little bit of cobalt, I'll get like a mossy green. And I did.
Right.
And
then you can get green with a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, because I didn't want to use chrome. Chrome's a gross green. Ugh.
Or copper carbonate. I mean, copper carb is a big
copper carbonate is like this blue. It's like a It's like a sea blue. Yeah. That's the one that people have a really hard time not getting to craze, which I had no problem at all because I'm a whiz. I'm a whiz with good luck.
Whiz kid.
I'm a glaze whiz. No, it's just that somebody shined down on me and was like, "Here, this will be easy for you," because we know everything else will be hard.
That are doing those. I see a couple people doing these glaze classes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're making like hundreds of textiles, and I'm like,
yeah, fuck that shit.
Yikes. I mean, I would die. I mean, if I was going the route that you're going with the red, you know, I would figure out I would do kind of like a line blend a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
100 grams of a batch and mix it 5 times, and then do like different percentages and just try it out.
Yeah,
I think that's the extent I would go. I wouldn't go much deeper than a already established recipe and just adjusting the colorants.
Yeah. Oof. I actually have a glaze book that I think has a matte purple in it. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Some good shit in there. Not John Britt's glaze book. It's like a glaze book with like really... I still need to mix
up that damn white. That white that you have, or that... I did screenshot it from Isaac when he shared it, or you when you shared it.
I shared it.
Still need to try it.
I shared it because Isaac told me not to, so I did.
Not keeping it too close to the vest.
No. He's like, don't share my glaze. That's my glaze. I'm like, that's not your glaze. That's the internet's glaze. And I took it.
You're like, I sent you that glaze.
Yeah.
And I got it from the internet.
Yeah, exactly. I literally just did a Google search and I was like, white shiny glaze. And it was like just a random ass forum with a glaze recipe. And it turned out great. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, it's not really that complex to get a white, I'm sure.
Yeah, but that's a fucking solid white.
Love it.
Solid fucking
Yeah,
white.
I need to try that out and see.
Yeah. Okay, we should go.
Alrighty. Anything else? Aletha, thank you for the question, as always.
As always, we completely disregarded the question halfway through the episode and talked about whatever we wanted. But you know what? That's what you're here for. So
hey, we wrapped it back to the previews, the updates. These updates are recent to us. Like, we had some things go on.
That's true. Okay, cool. Yeah. Bye.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening. Bye.
Bye. Yo, higgity, yo. It's Becca here. Hey, just so you know, thank you for listening. And also, we have... What do we have again? A Patreon. We have a Patreon that you should go, and if you want to donate to, you could donate to it. If you don't, that's cool too. But just Google Wheel Talk Podcast Patreon. Don't do the other one, because there is a Wheel Talk on Patreon, but it's not us. So make sure you get the right one. It's in the show notes. And also, leave us a review because they're fun to read. Okay, bye!